I get it. When you're looking at a 24-channel mixer, you're probably scrolling through a dozen options, wondering if you'll end up spending a good chunk of your budget on a piece of gear that sits half-used in the corner of your home studio. You've probably heard the phrase, "Don't buy a mixer you can't actually use," and that's exactly why I'm here. Before you click away, I've pulled together a practical look at the Mackie 2404 VLZ3 Premium 24-channel FX mixer with USB, and I'll tell you whether it actually earns a spot on your desk or rack. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, let's talk about the kind of setup where this mixer actually shines. Imagine you run a small but busy project studio, handling a handful of bands a week, recording live podcasts, or mixing a local theater's soundtrack. You need enough channels to accommodate a drum kit, a couple of guitars, a bass, a few vocal mics, and maybe a line-level input from a keyboard or a playback source. The 2404 VLZ3 gives you 24 channels, which means you can keep every instrument on its own fader without resorting to sub-mixes that get messy fast. The 4-bus layout is also a sweet spot for most small to medium productions. You can route your main mix, a monitor mix, a subgroup for drums, and a separate mix for effects or headphones without having to patch a lot of external gear. One of the first things people notice about this Mackie is the VLZ3 low noise, high headroom design. In everyday terms, that translates to cleaner preamps and less hiss when you're tracking quiet vocal takes or acoustic guitars. The mixer packs 20 studio-grade XDR2 mic preamps, and I've found that they hold up nicely when you push them into the upper decibels. You won't get the sudden popping that some cheaper mixers exhibit when a vocalist cracks a note, which is a real relief when you're trying to keep edit time down. If you're the type of engineer who likes to keep an eye on gain structure, these preamps give you enough headroom to dial in clean gain without constantly worrying about clipping. Now, the dual 32-bit RMFX Plus processors are where the premium label really starts to matter. Each channel gets its own set of reverb and chorus options, and because they're 32-bit, the effect processing stays transparent even when you have a lot of plugins active. In a real-world session, that means you can add a subtle plate reverb to a vocal track while also feeding a guitar channel through a vintage chorus without the mix sounding muddy. The 24 gig ready label refers to the mixer's ability to handle higher sample rates via the USB interface, which is handy if you plan to record directly into a DAW at 48 kHz or higher. The integrated 42/24-bit USB interface means you can send up to 4 input channels to your computer and receive 2 stereo outputs back, making it a decent all-in-one solution for a compact home studio that still wants solid analog routing. That said, there are a few hidden trade-offs you should be aware of before you commit. The 3-band active EQ on each channel is well balanced, but the frequency bands are fairly broad. Mid-range covers a wide swath from around 200 Hz to 5 kHz. If you're the type of mixer who likes surgical cuts or boosts, you might find yourself needing an external graphic EQ or a separate parametric unit to fine-tune certain problematic frequencies. Also, the mixer's size and analog nature mean it doesn't have a built-in digital snapshot feature. You can't instantly recall a full mix setting with a button press. For most live gigs or single-session recordings, that's not a deal-breaker, but if you're looking for instant scene changes like you get on some digital consoles, you'll have to plan your handoffs manually. Who should definitely put this on their cart? If you're running a small studio that already has a decent DAW setup and you need a reliable analog front-end that offers both flexibility and decent built-in effects, the 2404 VLZ3 fits the bill. It's also a solid choice for live sound engineers who need a compact but powerful mixer for a house band or a small venue. The USB interface means you can stream the mix directly to a PA system while simultaneously recording each channel into your laptop, cutting down on the need for a separate multitrack recorder. For podcasters who like to keep a few guests on separate mics while also capturing background music, the channel count and preamp quality make mic management effortless. On the flip side, if you're a bedroom producer who only records vocals and guitar occasionally, you'll probably never tap into more than 8 channels. In that scenario, you might be better off with a smaller analog mixer or even a pure audio interface that offers more direct digital control. Likewise, if you're hunting for a mixer with onboard digital routing, scene recall, or built-in multitrack recording, the 2404 VLZ3's analog-centric design may feel limiting. It's also worth noting that while the USB interface supports 24-bit